Hello. Imagine for a moment that you are an engineer and you just designed your very first pulley. The pulley looks similar like this. You worked with your technician, you prototyped it on your 3D printer, and man, it works like a charm, and now you are ready to have it mass produced. So how is a tradesperson, like a machinist that's running a lathe, going to be able to turn this out, whether by hand or on a CNC mill or lathe? Well, they're going to need a drawing to be able to do that first. In 131, we learn, or excuse me, 133, we learn specifically how to make a detailed drawing for an engineer to be able to communicate their drawing with a tradesperson and a technician. This uses the same CAD system that you used in 131 with the beams, but now we're going through and making the drawings of this design. In the purpose, there's a few things that are really important to pull out. A, there's a few symbols. These symbols that are labeled are just a fraction of the number of the symbols that you can use. But let's pull out a few rules. The diameter should only be used for a diameter of a circle or a hole. A radius should only be used for a corner. So you can see this is a corner of something. Never use a radius for a full circle. It just makes it more confusing for the person that are doing the drawings and whatnot. So those are really distinct. Make center points for circles or whatnot. Hole callouts. So this specifically, this hole callout, circle dash, that means that's the diameter. Whoa. And then it's all the way through, but then it's going to be tapped. It's tapped with 1/4-inch threads, a 1/4-inch width, 20 threads per inch to the depth of 2/100ths of an inch. And then we can also do angle dimensions. We can also do length and whatnot. And then there's also on your drawing, when you make your CAD rendering, your drawing will have a top view, a front view, a side view, and an isometric view. In 133, you are going to find this from the public profile. Public drawings are anything that has been that someone's produced and wants to share with someone to tinker with or whatnot. So you can make copies of any of these. There's a whole bunch of things on Onshape to use. This is something to keep in mind for when we get to Unit 3, and we're going to change part of a small engine. But here we have this pulley. So how do we make a copy? We click up here and make a copy. And put your initials underneath of it. Voila! Now you have the pulley on your specific page. No one else can edit this unless you give them the power to now, because it's yours. We are going to create a drawing of Part Studio 1. And we can either do no views and insert views, or we can do 4 views. I'm going to show you the 4 views part real quick. Okay. So by doing that, it created my top, my front, my side, and my isometric view. And then also I have a title block. So if we zoom in on that title block, we can see some of the different entities. Onshape automatically puts my name and the date in because I'm the one that drew this, but I could edit this. I can also go through and, as you share it, you can have someone check it and then approve it. You can list the material, the finish that you applied, apply a title, a drawing number, a version number, and then even a weight. But this is something that's really important, is this is the scale. So all these are a 1:4 scale ratio. You can have separate scales if you wanted to, where you could go through and double click up here, and let's say I wanted this isometric view to actually be 1 to 2, so you can see a little bit more. So this title block says it's 1 to 4. That's for here, but this is going to label itself right there. So where do I find the sections that I need to, or the tools to be able to make these drawings? Well, it's all underneath here under this tool, which exactly is the logo or the symbol that we used for actually making the dimensions of the beams. But underneath we have some different points. So I could do a just a dimension tool. Let's just say, okay, how wide is this? I can click on that point, drag it out. As the procedure says, I want all the drawings to be far away and try not to overlap. That can be tough. And then, but you could play around with it. And then we also like angles. So for this, and this is where if you have a mouse it gets really handy to zoom in. If I have, this is my line to line angular dimension. So I wanted to figure out this angle right here. I'm going to see if you can see how that turns yellow and orange, and this turns yellow and orange. And I can swing this out, and I have a 44.8 degree angle between this line and this line. We can also create section view that allows us to come through and see exactly what the inside of a section would look like. So for example, what does the inside of this pulley look like? You just drag it apart, and as you can see right here, with that section tool, I was able to cut through it, and oh, now I can draw where that hole was. There are several more tools that are available on Onshape that we're not even going to get to within 133 that you could definitely use, whether it's a welding symbol or using a geometric tolerance or making a bill of materials with a table and using call-out tools. I suggest that if you're interested in learning more about these, Onshape makes great tutorials that are very detailed. You're going to want to sit down for about 30 minutes to be able to watch them, however, but you can easily find those on Google. If you wanted to create a drawing of a part studio or a part with starting out from scratch with no views, you could easily start from here. This sometimes you do not need to have all 4 views. For instance, if you're making a plate or something like that, you just need to have a bigger view. You can do that. Up here in this column we have different part studios, and I only have one part studio, but you can put parts in from multiple different studios. So if you're making an assembly drawing, seeing how it intermatches, but I want to go, okay, here's my part studio, here's the view I want. Okay, I want my isometric view. It's just going to let me do the front right here. Okay, I can pick the scale that I want. I'm going to make it really small, and I can put that where I want it. You can see here that sometimes it suggests where to place things, but to click on that tool, insert view, I can click the studio that I'm pulling the part from, the view, the scale. So you should be set to do your drawing. Good luck.